With headlines screaming that 300,000 plus Black women are no longer in the workforce, I have a burning question. What do we do next? If you are an educated Gen X or Millennial Black woman with corporate or government or any type of professional experience and you're worried about landing your next job, this video is for us, made with love. In this video, you're going to hear my conversation with career coach and corporate trainer Davina Ware of upwardlypavedpath.com. Our conversation covers topics including what to do when the job market is hostile to you, creative ways to reframe your career, how networking, personal branding, and thought leadership can position you for new opportunities, and so much more. Because when two Black women get together, it's going to be a key, honey. Because, baby, we address Tabitha Brown's recent controversial hot take about getting a job, Tyler Perry caught a stray, and too many more laugh out loud moments to mention. Check the description box for more information about my guest, and timestamps are below to help you navigate this conversation about what corporate Black women should be doing next for their careers. Let's go. I'm Denise Renee, your business book bestie. Here is my signature book, and these are some of my clients. I help professionals write books that make their business, career, or thought leadership brand visible. This video is where book writing, personal branding, and cultural commentary meet. So let's jump in. Y'all. So a few weeks ago, someone fabulous started showing up on my YouTube feed, the lovely Miss Davina Ware. And I was like, I need her on my channel because we need to talk about some things. Okay. And so we got on a Zoom call last week and we were just chatting like we've been girlfriends for years.
Yes.
So I love it. And welcome my newfound friend, Miss Davina Ware, to my channel. And so before I even have you say anything, let's just give you a little introduction here. Okay. So Davina Ware is the founder of Upwardly Paved Path. And you can find that at www.upwardlypavedpath.com. I'll put a cool little thing here on the screen for you. And she is a career coach, and by all means, correct me if I'm wrong, girl, but she is a career coach to individuals and a trainer to corporations. So Ms. Davina, welcome. And you're more than welcome to also share a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Yes, I am so happy to be here because, like you said, the Kiki last week was real. Okay, it was real and it filled my cup. So I'm super, super happy to be here. We live on different coasts.
That's okay.
And I love that the internet can bring us together. So it's right. So it's funny that you say that. I started off in the career space, like career coaching and all of that. But as I started helping professionals find careers on purpose where they use their gifts and talents every day, I noticed they were going into toxic work environments. So then they were running out of there like the building was on fire. So I'm like, well, how both parts of this equation need to be addressed. So yes, let's get the employees together, let them understand their worth, their values, the to-dos and professional workspaces and all of that good jazz. But now I need to work with the leadership because people have been promoted and trained for their hard skills, for their functional skills, but not on the people skills necessarily. Our college degrees don't necessarily teach us about the people aspect of leadership. So I transition more into leadership and talent strategy so that I can reach the whole sphere of the workplace. That's right. Dealing with the folks, with the individuals, but then dealing with the leaders to make sure that I'm training up people to go in environments that make sense. Too many of us are running the entrepreneurship to run away from corporate, but somebody got to work at the bank, right? We need teachers. We need somebody somewhere. We can't leave all the toxic people there.
The first person that came to mind when you said work at the bank, I was like, oh Lord, not that crazy Tyler Perry movie where Sherry Shepherd was the bank owner.
Right, right. That part.
Because her show came back yesterday, the day that we're recording this, September 23rd, 2025.
Yes.
Her show came back on air yesterday and she was talking about it and she showed the picture of her in the wig. She was like, I didn't know they made wigs, the bob wigs. She's like, that looks like a Walter. I was like, girl. So, yes, that was the first image that came
I
into my
gotta
head
go
when you
watch
says
that.
that movie was crazy.
Ma'am.
I was traumatized.
I saw bits and pieces and I was like, I think I need my life to get better first before I continue watching this. But Imma circle back. Imma circle
So
back.
I'm gonna just say this and then I'm gonna move on. But that movie, it just for me, it just felt like too much. It was just like pound, 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 pound. It was like this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And then at the end, you were just like, what in the world?
Oh, yeah, no. No, no, no. No, no,
The
no,
world?
no, no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, no. I don't need that. Like, if we gonna do that, especially because I'm sure you can relate to that being super real life of the season of the back-to-back poundings. I need some redemption
That
to
ain't the
this
movie. That
story.
ain't it. There is no redemption in
Oh,
this
no,
story.
ma'am.
Mm-mm,
Mm-mm.
there is none.
No.
There is none. And I only
That's gonna
watched that
affect my
movie
nervous
because I know what I'm going to get with a Tyler Perry production. So it's like I'm very
Fair.
split on him because on the one hand, it's like
Same.
I can definitely respect, you know, what you've done for yourself and for the culture. But on the other hand, I also know that billionaires don't usually get to where they are by being the kindest people. And then on the third hand, as a writer, I'm like, brother, I have notes. I have lots of notes. So, I know what I'm going to get, but I only watched it
Yeah.
because I wanted to support Sherry Shepherd and Tiana
Yep.
Taylor. And of course, our
Yep.
girl Taraji.
Taraji.
But
Yes.
yeah, if you need looking for a mental break, that movie ain't it.
Had a feeling I had a feeling in in the deepest depths of my spirit that was not gonna be my release
No,
plan. So I was
no,
like,
ma'am.
I am rooting
This is
for
not
you
it.
guys. How okay,
From
thank
afar.
you for confirming.
But getting back to that
Got
whole
it.
yes, getting back to the whole issue of somebody's got to work at these jobs. And I've been talking a lot more lately about really refocusing my content. I've been in that entrepreneurial space, and I'm somebody who has had a foot in the entrepreneurial space and the job market space. Gosh, since the early 2000s, really. And I've had periods where I haven't been employed and I've been totally in an entrepreneurial space. And then, like right now, I'm hybrid. And yes,
Right.
we do run out literally the last corporate job that I had. Nobody go look on my LinkedIn. But it was very much a toxic environment for me. And I wasn't the only person who looked like me who found it toxic. And that's all we're going to say about that. And when I got
Understand.
to the end, I was like, well, at this point in time, at this point in my life, I forgot how old I was. It was like 7, 8 years ago. This is like 2017. I was like, well, I could either spend a whole lot of energy on getting another job, or I could spend that same energy getting clients because I had started my freelance writing business, but I was just kind of, whenever something came, it came, but whatever. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the time and jump out there and bet on myself and it was a ride. I'm glad that I did it because I learned things that I would not have learned had I not done it. Like when you're thinking about
Yes.
something, it's you have to get into it. You just have to jump in and do it. And you're gonna learn so many things that you will never learn from being in school or from a book or a podcast. You just gotta do it. And I
You gotta
did.
go through
You gotta
it.
go through it. And baby, I went through. I had some high highs and low lows and mid and meh mids.
There you go.
And I did go back into the workforce and I was just like, am I gonna do this business? Am I not? And
Mm-mm.
I I found my own place of peace with it and said, okay,
Good.
you know what? Probably for the next 15 years, because where I am in age, I'm like, you know what? If I really focus on growing my personal brand alongside of my job, By the time I get to 65, like, I don't see myself ever retiring, not just because
Same.
of the statistics, but because of who I am, and I'm a creative. I'm like, "What am I gonna do? Sit down and twiddle my thumbs? That's not gonna happen." So, as a
Put on your
creative
rocking chair, girl.
yeah, as a creative person, I'm gonna continue creating, but I wanna be able to have built up a nice audience where I have a
There you
community
go.
that, I put out a book, they're buying it. I put out some music, they're buying it. Like, so I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have to work with the workforce for the next 15 years. And then, just like that, poof, 300,000 Black women disappear from the job market. Now, ain't
What
that something?
have you seen them? Tell me, have you seen her? No, you haven't.
So I'd love to really start our
Oh,
conversation
man.
there, even though we have been having a key. Um, but the thing that I can't stand about traditional news is that they're just going to bombard you, almost like that Tyler Perry movie. They're just going to keep bombarding you with the with the bad news, right? And I am all about what do we do next, right? What's next? Okay, 300,000 plus. I think I heard like last week it's up to 400,000. I'm like, why am I not surprised?
Yes, probably. That sounds about right.
And,
Mhm.
we're not going to even break into the whole societal colonialism of it all. We already know who's at the bottom of the totem pole. And Black women have to save themselves, as we always do, and then turn around and save everybody else.
Mhm.
Okay, we've
Mhm.
accepted that. We're not going to debate that in this video. We're going to move
Right,
on,
right.
right?
We already know what it
We're
is.
gonna move
Oh,
on. So the other week I posted a video where I was like, okay, these are the headlines, but what do we do? And I offered my little old suggestion based on what I'm doing myself. And my three suggestions were number one, we just need to pause, pray, and what did I say? I said pause, pray, and find our peace, child. And then the second thing
yes.
I said was we need to lean into community more. And the third thing I said was I think we need to package our knowledge and put it into books, put it into coaching, put it into consulting so that we just have some more options. So I would love to hear your thoughts on what do Black women in the workforce with all this education? Because I think a report had come out. This woman that I follow on YouTube, her handle is anti HR. I love her so much.
Yeah. Mhm.
So she was like, this is all intentional. This ain't this is by design. Because right at the end of last year, this report came out saying that Black women are the most educated group in America. And then all of a sudden, 300,000 of us get ejected. Oh.
And the most unemployed. Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
So yes. So what are your thoughts? What
Yeah.
do you think that we should be doing next? As a career coach
Let
and
me
consultant and bringing
yes,
it
and
all
see this
together.
bring it all together. Let me start by saying that my first reaction to that was like, "Oh, I wasn't surprised by any means, unfortunately." But that let me know the severity of the time that we're in. Whatever we've been sitting on, whatever we've been thinking about doing, no, the time is now. The time is now. I love the first thing you said was pause. We are the ones who typically are working. We got a baby on our back or we got a baby on our hip and we doing 300,000 things, right? And I used to be on the multitask gang, okay? But I ran myself into the ground doing that, and I couldn't be present anymore. I always had to be doing something. Even if I was watching a movie, I'm also sending emails. So, right. And that whole like booked and busy, I just don't subscribe to that anymore because we are worth being human beings too.
We are worth
And not just
having peace.
conquering come on. Yes. Not just conquering and overcoming and yes, I think we've proven that already. We've proven that. So with transitions, the best thing you can do, like you said, is just pause and assess. That means that a new season is on the horizon. And as we know from several different fronts, we're here. How do you want to step into this new season? Are you just trying to plug a hole? Like in a boat, you feel like you drowning. I get that.
Girl.
But then you're gonna plug a hole in and stay in the same boat. It's broken. So we've got to do something different. And in some cases, it is creating new spaces for us ourselves. It could be the hybrid thing, lots of things. But first and foremost, you have to honor you. One of the things I do is I use different assessments when I'm working with both corporate people and one on one. And they just, it's nothing like seeing yourself in black and white.
Mm.
Everybody's heard of DISC, right?
Yes.
That's your
Hmm.
style. That's how you operate and all the things. A lesser known science is called um, driving forces. So, driving forces measures what drives you into action, what motivates you.
Okay.
And me taking this report, well, I'm certified in it. It was life changing for me. And it helped me to make decisions where I was able to get out of plugging a hole in the boat.
I hear that.
With the science, I'll just break it down really quick. There are 6 categories of human motivation. You're gonna have top 4 things that drive you into action, and you're gonna have a bottom 4 things that you are completely indifferent about. Once you see where you land on that, you can make confident decisions about where you will spend your time. And you'll notice I was able to know why maybe jobs didn't work out because I'm like, "Oh, I was spending majority of my time in things I'm indifferent." So, for example, I'll give you the main thing that drives me into action is what's called resourcefulness.
Okay.
I'm not I need to always be getting an ROI. So
You
I'm the
need
person you
results.
would have in a budget meeting, because 'cause I'm gonna take, "Okay, we got $100, I'm gonna find 101 things to do with it." That gives me energy. In addition, I like to eliminate waste, that kinda thing.
Gotcha.
That means I need to be in spaces where you're gonna utilize me to maximize things. So, whatever space I'm in, that's gotta be the number one thing that is happening in that environment. On the other side of another driver is called commanding. These are people that are like, "Please put me in the background, don't recognize me publicly. It's not me, it's we. It's the team. We're all the same." I love that. That I'm completely indifferent towards that. So if I'm working in a team and an environment and that happened to me, I was like, "Why am I so unhappy here? Why do I hate showing up to work? These people are so nice." It's because I operate clockwise, they operate counterclockwise.
Counterclockwise. Gotcha.
It don't matter how much money you throw at me or how nice the people are, it wasn't gonna
It
fit.
wasn't a good fit.
So in this place, right, and here's the thing, that didn't make them toxic, and it didn't make this a bad environment or bad working environment,
It just
but that
wasn't for you.
let me know. And so, okay, you let 400,000 of us go, cool. But I'm gonna get the strength and this superpower to know exactly what environment I need to be in, which means I know what questions to ask, I know who to look for, so that no matter what the space is, whether it's hybrid, whether it's back in corporate, whether it's full entrepreneurship, I am carving a sustainable space for myself that will outlast seasons, outlast what's happening in our economy, what's happening in America is gonna be that constant solid ground, and you can't so going back to what you were saying about the peace,
Mhm.
that's where that comes from.
Okay. So speaking about possibly going back into corporate, now Auntie Tab, and if you don't know who Auntie Tab is, Tabitha Brown, about 2 weeks ago now, child, internet
And
boiled
drink
her in
my
hot
tea.
water. Yes, hot tea, baby, hot tea. So she said, maybe, baby, you need to just go ahead and get a job. And I didn't disagree with what she said. I thought that the messenger, in that someone who hasn't had a traditional, workplace job since I think it was 2017, 2018 when she first went viral. So someone who has and has rapidly moved into such a different place and space with her personal brand and licensing and businesses and da 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 da. She's not where that average, 300,000 Black women is at in the corporate world. Her relationship to corporate is very different. She's had her own things to deal with, but it's from a different perspective where the most of us, are not dealing with. So I thought that the message came from, the wrong person. And I thought that the timing was, girl, not right now,
That part.
because it's not as easy to get a job. And when we are enemy number one, the first one on the list to be what they call it, well, this is the pink pen, but we the first one to be redlined, right? Oh, what we finna do? Like, what we supposed to do? So, what do you think? What's your opinion on when we need to get a job, right? We need to plug the hole in the boat sometimes, right? In order so we can just even think and be like, okay, now maybe I can, break off a piece of these and make a raft or something, or go swim to a new boat or something. We may need to plug that hole. We may need to go back into corporate. We may need that next job. But what are some tips or strategies that we can do when it feels like, and it literally is, feels like everything is against us, especially if you are like in my range or your age range. I'm 51, about to be 52. So I'm right smack in the middle of Gen X. And I believe like you're like on the older side of millennials. We're at that age where, if you're 45 plus, they not checking for us any old way. Right? They think that we're going to come with a lot of demands. We're going to come with higher salary requirements, and do. Uh, so it's like it does get more challenging when you tack on these other things. So, what are your suggestions for when you may need to go get that job, but it ain't that easy because the jobs are not jobbing or the jobs are not checking for you? I know that was a lot.
So many thoughts. No, but it's so good because I'm so passionate about everything you're saying. To your point, in all of the criticism that I've seen, and even my personal opinion about Auntie Tab, nobody said that she was wrong. The words that she was saying
Like I
was
said,
incorrect.
I didn't
Who
think she
said
was
that?
wrong, but
That's right. But ma'am, timing is everything. And you said this after these are news reports, not opinions. 300 plus, now we're at 400,000 Black women have been let go from corporate spaces. And you're like, you got ideas, but you're not executing them. Huh? I think the timing of it was off, and I think it was a little bit short-sighted. I don't think she meant ill will.
no.
Some people took it way too far.
Yeah.
I just don't think so. When I heard it, I was just like, "Okay, girl," and I went to the next YouTube video.
Right, right, right,
Okay,
right.
I was like,
Like, she didn't mean no
"We're
harm.
not on
She
the
did not
same
mean any harm.
season." Yeah, exactly. So if that was my auntie I was sitting across from, I'd be like, "Would
Okay,
you want to go
auntie.
get something to eat?"
Okay, auntie. But
Time to exit out of this conversation.
right.
So,
But that
um,
that reaction aside, and I always am like, okay, thanks, Tab. We need actionable advice
that was
that
the
we can
other
do.
thing, right? What's the solution? Like, I would have liked for her to end on a "let me build you up" instead of just "let me expose you." We got that enough from several different fronts. I just don't think it was helpful.
Gotcha.
But I'll tell you, for those of us who are creative and who got that entrepreneurial spirit, it could feel like a little bit of failure, right? To go back into a corporate space, but it is what it is. I think what I'm learning, the enemy in the workplace right now is Gen Z. So we got a shot. We got a shot. I hate to say that, but we've got a shot. They see them coming, they're like, oh,
I see these
they
memes about millennial workers versus Gen Z workers, and they're hilarious. It's like Gen Z, the caricature of Gen Z is that they're lazy, they don't want to work, they don't know how to work, and they just could care less. They're just taking up space. And I'm like, if I was Gen Z, I'd feel disrespected.
they do. They do feel disrespected, they do, well, it's not entirely true. I feel like we've gotta give them some grace. Their
They're brand new.
formative years, they are brand new, and we all have a coming of age event that shaped us as a generation. For millennials, it was the dot-com issue, it was the housing market, it was, September 11th. For them, it was COVID. So, a lot of their formative years were spent trapped in a house or behind a screen. I think I may have shared this with you before, but I know a speaker who was telling a story about a school in somebody's state
Mm.
where they had an elective. This was high school, by the
Mhm,
way.
mhm.
The elective was called How to Make a Friend.
Really?
Because the concept of friend is different for them. Us is friends who we went outside with,
Right.
jumped rope with,
Mhm.
skip it, all the things. In their world, a friend, what do we send each other when we that's right, a friend request. Exactly
These are
right.
not your friends. Hey,
These are not
they
no.
that little
Are we
boy
friends
ain't your
on this? Are we
friend.
friends on this or that? Are we following each other? So they've missed out on human connection with the advancement of technology. So we have to give them a little bit of grace that we've got to pull them into our world and into the work world and to give them that human experience because they don't necessarily
They don't have it.
have it.
They don't
So
have
we've
it.
got to give Gen Z some grace. Yes, they need a little bit of support. We got to reach, the olive branch across the table and just say, okay, little brother, okay, little sister, I understand. I was you like 10 years ago. Let me help you out. I think millennials are the best tool that the workplace has to bridge these gaps between the generations. So we got a shot. We got a shot. Older generations, we bring stability into the workplace. And right now, everything's feels very unstable. So it's most employers are welcoming us in of like, "Whew, okay, all right, yeah, it'll be fine.
I'm
But
looking
I
for
think
that
we
welcoming employer right now.
I know, a few, but we've gotta get creative.
Mm.
It may not be your typical, corporate 9 to 5, maybe try an off, timeline, so maybe you take second shift or something. Small things like that have a different feel.
Mm.
Also, there's so many different kinds of jobs. Play around with things, if as and also, let's be real, what do you need? Okay, plug a hole, but for millennials I'm speaking of, most of us are very burned out.
Mm.
So, because again, we were like, "Yes, get all the degrees, all of them, and then we are going to just,
Take
like,
over the
kill
world.
it." The place that we're gonna take over, and like I said, then the housing market crashed, and we were like, "Oh, is
It's
the
like
movie
that.
theater higher $10 an hour?" Things like that. So all of the grind didn't push the needle as far as we thought it would go. So I in is a space of transition, ask yourself if you need something that has a lesser mental load.
Mm.
That's okay. That's okay. Because your nervous system might need a break. Though our sisters that got laid off and all of that, who knows? They could have been stuck in a rut or a routine. This is a great opportunity to stick your fingers in something different to just kind of declutter the years. I watched a YouTube video where a woman she was working this job for 30 some years. It was
Wow.
all she knew. Right. She was one of the 300. Okay. 300,000, not the 300 like the Spartans in them. But
Or
she right. But what a great her mental load probably needs to be reset.
although it can
That's when yeah.
I do get that, but on the other hand, sometimes it can be a little hard to see that at first because the
Oh,
first thought
yeah.
is panic, like, OMG,
Absolutely.
there went my income. What do I do next? And most of
That's
us
right.
live paycheck to paycheck. Even high earners live paycheck to paycheck and credit card to credit card.
That's right.
So, the last kind of question or topic that I want to touch on is what do you see or what do you think about personal branding as an employee? Um, I remember in my last corporate role, it was like mid 20, like 2014. I was there from 2014 to 2017. And one of the things that were coming up in conversations about, around employee engagement and all that kind of stuff was employee advocacy. And they were trying, at the company I was working at the time, they were trying to get us to like participate in LinkedIn more and they were very transparent about it. It's like, post more about us because while I was on the marketing team and, I was handling the blog and posts and things like that, that's coming from corporate, but they really wanted the employees to talk more about the job and talk more about, and so that it feels more organic. And everybody wasn't really, on board, right? But it's like fast forward 10 years and personal branding is definitely important for entrepreneurs, people who are solopreneurs, people who are looking to be consultants. It's like you have to put yourself out there. You have to put out your thought leadership. You have to put out your content. You have to put out your books and things like that. But I think, and I have seen it for just anecdotally. So I don't have like statistics to grab onto, but I have seen anecdotally where employees, like one of the people on my Sell Your Book podcast last year, she has a consulting business, but she also has a full time job and she has a leadership role, and she was building her personal brand right alongside of her job, and in a way that it also enhanced her job. So it was like, and then she released her book, and now she's just like blowing up and exploding all over the place. So, what do you think, or what are your thoughts about employee people who are, straight up employees building their personal brand while they are, employed, and how do you think that can help them with visibility in this crazy meat market of a job market? Because it's definitely nice to have a recruiter coming to you instead of you trying to flag them down, child.
That part. And that is probably one of the biggest perks of personal branding, period. At this point, it's necessary. It's a non-negotiable. Here in 2025, I think everybody needs a personal brand. Your resume is not enough
Mm-mm.
to stand out. The other thing is people have a misconception that other people remember their achievements and accomplishments, even if they're in a corporate space. They don't. But when you package them, when a certain topic or subject comes to mind, you should be the next thought. That's the goal of personal branding because that's also how you work your way up, how you get freedom and other things in a corporate space when you cultivate your personal brand. So yes, when you're looking for a job, it needs to be on your whole presentation.
Mm.
'Cause at this point, I think I saw a statistic that said there's, like, somewhere between 400 to, like, 3,000 applicants per each job.
Listen, when you go on LinkedIn and you see a job, like it's been posted for less than 24 hours and there's already 1,000 applicants on that. And you're just like, are we serious? Like, for real? It's just a slosh pile. I don't think they show you how much on Indeed or like was in Indeed. No, I don't think they show you on Indeed, but
No.
I do know that you get inundated. Like, what my last job in New York before I moved to Atlanta, I had to hire for an assistant. And this is like 2007, 2008, something like that. And I had to work with the HR team to create a job description, and I think we use Indeed or something similar. So they put out the job, and then all of the emails of the applicants, they came to me.
Mhm.
It was
Oh my
so
god.
much. It was so much. And so I had that experience of being overwhelmed and inundated, and also seeing there were certain things that were listed in the job description and how many people applied. I'm like, did you read the job description or did you just hit apply?
They hit apply with hope.
Yeah, well, they
I
got
tell people not to do that. When you go in your mind, "I could do that," click apply, don't apply. just because it's gonna frustrate you later on. You need to say,
You
"Oh,
will
yeah,
not be
I've
hurt.
done."
You will not get a response because I was
You can do
looking.
that.
I was like, okay, this is too many people. Show me that I can weed you out. That was my mentality. I'm like, just you didn't follow my
See?
instructions. You didn't what? Bye, 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 bye,
See?
and bye. And then I was left with a small group of people that I could really focus on and say, okay, they look like da da da. Well, let me call them. Okay, had a good conversation. Okay, come on in. I'm trying to eliminate you. So I can only imagine if that was my experience with just one little job in 2008, how much worse it's gotten.
Gosh. Right. What also comes to mind for me is that old adage is not who you know, is who knows you. That is also a result of personal branding. Just having conversations with people, letting them know what you do in your spaces, whether it's networking groups. I always also encourage people to join their industry related association. So your local marketing association or whatever that is. Who knows you? I can't tell you how many times people have called and say, I've got a client, I've got a friend, I've got a this that needs help. I didn't have to do anything. Personal branding. I'm not telling people to not apply for jobs. I'm just saying be more creative
Hmm.
than the traditional route. Because also, I find that it's also a better fit.
Mm,
When you're applying for jobs, it's kind of blind
it
because you don't know
is.
the company, you don't know them. You're putting on your best foot forward, your best face, and so are they. It's not till you're there months that they open up the curtain and you're like, oh, wait a minute. It's kind of like dating, right? If somebody's setting you up,
Hmm.
if it's someone you know and that you trust, they probably know that person that it's a better, and I think I've seen statistics on this, like better
It's a better
matches.
match. Hmm.
Same thing with if you're looking for a job. Get out there, be yourself, package yourself. So when things arise, you are getting phone.
So, real quick, if you're listening to this conversation and you've thought about writing a book to establish or grow your thought leadership or personal brand, but you're not sure how to get started, I want to recommend my proprietary framework called 4 Steps to Start Writing Your Book. Get it at writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps. This ebook, workbook, and audio lesson combination is going to walk you through step by step the initial questions you need to answer about your topic, your audience, your goals, and the content you're going to be addressing inside of your book. At the end, you would have started writing your book and you'll be empowered to finish it. Head over to writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps to get your copy right now and start working on your book today. Okay, let's get back into the conversation.
Be yourself, package yourself. So when things arise, you are getting phone. Or like I said, recruiters, if you have your resume with different staffing agencies, then they're calling you. They're not going through their roster. They're going to you.
Girl,
Mhm.
I could talk to you all day.
No, I know.
But we gonna put a pin on this, and then maybe we need to come back with a part two. In fact,
I think so.
y'all should go head on over to her channel because she's gonna have a video up where we're gonna flip the tables, and I have no
Yeah.
idea what she's gonna ask me. But yes, join us on the part two, right? Now, before we get out of here on my video here, let people know how they can connect with you.
Yes. So on LinkedIn, it's just my name, Davina Ware. It's the female version of David. On YouTube, it's Upwardly Paved Path, 3 words, and all of my socials are the same thing.
Awesome. I love it. That's that brand. Well, thank you
That part.
so very much for joining me in this video, and I am looking forward to more collaboration.
Same.
Now, I hope that you've enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. Be sure that you check the description box for more information about my guest. And when she's posted her video interviewing me, there will be a link down to that video as well. Go ahead and check her out on all her socials. And if you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and let us know what you thought. And in case you missed my video breaking down the 3 things that I think the 300,000 plus Black women who lost their jobs should do next, click on this video right now to check it out, and I'll see you on the other side.